Beginning. The last human in chains. Commander Rylan Voss had expected many things when he signed up to represent humanity at the Concord of Dominion species: diplomacy, hostility, maybe even betrayal. But chains? He hadn't expected chains. He knelt in the grand throne hall of the Triarch Warlords, rulers of the Karzul Dominion, a coalition of species that had crushed dozens of civilizations in the span of a century. Their throne room was carved from obsidian stone, polished to reflect the galaxy map suspended above it like a crown of dying stars. Above him, gloating from 3 elevated thrones, sat Warlord Grathel, a reptilian brute wrapped in plasma armor. Warlord Silaven, a psionic arachnid with 8 shimmering eyes. Warlord Vector, a Warangan hybrid whose metal veins pulsed blue. Rylan's wrists were bound behind his back. His uniform was torn, dusted with the ash of humanity's last outer colonies. Somehow he still kept his back straight, refusing to bow. The last human commander, brought to beg for mercy, Grathel hissed, his mandibles clicking. You primates crumble so easily. Silaven added a chittering laugh. Your species burns like dry leaves. Fragile. Predictable. Extinct soon. Vector leaned forward, mechanical lungs hissing. Explain. Why did your kind resist? Why not kneel and live as slaves? You had no hope. Rylan looked up. His face was bruised but unbroken. Because we don't kneel, he said. Not to tyrants. The hall erupted in cold laughter. Bold, for a dying relic, Silaven mocked. Tell us, human, what fuels such defiance? You have no fleet left. No allies. No future. Rylan inhaled. If there was ever a time to give up, it was now. But he didn't. Instead, he whispered, because you don't know humanity's oldest truth. And what is that? Grathel sneered. Rylan lifted his eyes, calm, steady, terrifyingly sure. Never corner a tiger. The warlords looked confused. They assumed it was another human metaphor, another meaningless phrase from another conquered species. They were wrong. So very wrong. Middle, the tiger that slept in humanity's bones. The warlords thought they had studied humanity. They knew nothing. They didn't know about the Eternum Protocol, a genetic failsafe encoded into select lineages of Earth centuries ago, back when humanity first realized alien life wasn't just a possibility, but an inevitability. A last resort awakening. A final card to play when extinction loomed. And Commander Rylan Voss, descendant of the Bengal Continuum line, was its final carrier. But activating it required one thing: hopelessness. And Rylan had felt it fully. The loss of Earth's colonies, the screams of civilians, the collapse of fleets. The protocol ignited. He felt it before they saw it. A tremor in his bones. A heat behind his eyes. A heartbeat echoing not just in his chest, but in reality. Silaven tilted her head. His vitals are increasing. Vector scowled. Humans cannot survive such spikes. Rylan smiled. Humans shouldn't. But tigers can. Then it happened. A roar, bestial, ancient, cosmic, ripped through the hall. A tiger's roar. It shook the obsidian pillars. It rattled the throne platforms. It made the warlords stiffen in primal, instinctive unease, the kind predators feel when they encounter something more predator than themselves. Orange-gold energy exploded from Rylan's body. His restraints vaporized. His eyes burned amber like solar furnaces. A spectral tiger, massive, striped with starlight, unfurled behind him, its ghostly form roaring in silent harmony. Grathel leapt from his throne. What is this? Rylan stood. No, he rose, hovering inches above the floor. The spectral tiger's energy poured into him, merging man and beast into one terrifying silhouette of ancient Earth's apex spirit. "You mocked humanity," Rylan said, voice layered with a tiger's growl. "But humanity carries more than you could ever understand." "Kill him," Vector roared. Dozens of Dominion enforcers stormed the hall. Plasma rifles charged. Rylan stepped forward, and the tiger awoke. The Battle of the Throne Hall. It began with a flash. Rylan vanished and reappeared among the soldiers like lightning wearing human form. A single swipe of his hand, claws of golden energy extending from his fingers, shattered armored chest plates. Troops flew backward like rag dolls, crashing against walls. Bolts of plasma struck him. They burned, but only lightly, like sparks on steel. Rylan ducked beneath a blaster shot and punched upward. The resulting shockwave shattered 5 soldiers' helmets and sent a ripple across the hall. The warlords stared in disbelief. "He moves like a void panther," Silaven whispered. "Impossible," Vector snapped. "No human possesses such power." "He isn't just human," Grathel said, stepping back. "He's something else." The spectral tiger roared again, echoing through Rylan's strikes. Every movement was a blur. Every breath fueled an ancient wilderness. A dozen soldiers fired flamethrowers in unison. Rylan leapt high, twisting midair, landing atop the balcony rail with feline grace. The tiger's tail, ethereal but lethal, swept across the balcony, hurling enemies like leaves in a storm. Rylan breathed out. The tiger inside him inhaled. The energy built. Pulse break. A shockwave burst from his core, a roaring tiger silhouette expanding outward like an explosion. The entire hall shook. Enforcers collapsed. Stone cracked. The warlords finally understood. Humanity had hidden a monster among their ranks. A monster they had awakened themselves. The warlords joined the fight. Grathel roared, his massive reptilian form doubling in size as his combat implants activated. He grabbed a plasma hammer from his throne side. "I will rip the beast from your bones." He charged. Rylan met him mid-stride. Hammer and claw collided, sending an energy shock through the hall that shattered light fixtures and collapsed 2 pillars. Silaven rose into the air, spinning threads of psychic energy. She hissed, "Let the human drown in illusions." Her psionic webs tried to bind Rylan's mind. Visions of burning Earth, lost comrades, Oathkeeper station falling. But the tiger roared inside Rylan's psyche, shredding the illusions with primal fury. "You prey on fear?" Rylan growled. "You picked the wrong human." Vector extended his arms, cannons unfolded, whirring with cerulean fire. Disintegration mode. Engaged. He unleashed a barrage of beam fire. Rylan sprinted across the wall, literally, leaping off into a flying kick that dented Vector's faceplate and sent him stumbling. His agility breaks all known physics. Vector snarled. "Not physics," Rylan replied mid-strike. "Instinct." They fought. Fury, plasma, psionic webs, spectral claws. Grathel trapped Rylan's arm and slammed him into the ground hard enough to create a crater. Silaven pierced his shoulder with psychic barbs. Vector fired a full plasma barrage at point-blank range. Smoke filled the hall. For a moment, silence. The warlords gasped as the smoke parted. Rylan rose again, bleeding, bruised, limbs trembling, but his eyes still burned. "You want to know what humanity is?" he whispered. The tiger behind him lifted its head. "We are the species that refuses to die." He exploded into motion. The final awakening. Grathel swung his hammer. Rylan ducked, slashed, and severed the warlord's lower right arm. Grathel roared and crashed backward into his throne. Scifiexplained tried to retreat into the ceiling shadows, weaving a psychic spear. Rylan hurled a bolt of tiger energy, piercing her telepathic shield. She shrieked, spiraling to the ground as her illusions crumbled. Vector charged his core reactor for a final blast. "I will erase you, human." "You tried," Rylan said softly. He placed his hand on the ground. Golden cracks spread across the floor like glowing vines. Then, Tiger's ascent. The spectral tiger rushed out of him, massive and fully formed, a beast of living starlight. It lunged at Vector, jaws clamping onto the Warlord's reactor chamber. Vector screamed, metal shrieked, and the reactor shattered in an implosion of blue-white fire. A shockwave rippled through the hall. The thrones collapsed. The obsidian walls groaned. The galaxy map flickered. Grathel and Scifiexplained, wounded and terrified, scuttled backward. Rylan walked forward, the spectral tiger prowling beside him. "You believed humans were prey," he said. "But tigers are patient. They crouch. They wait. They survive." His voice deepened into a growl. "And when the moment comes, they strike." The warlord stared at him, this impossible fusion of man and myth. "What are you?" Scifiexplained gasped. Rylan's amber eyes glowed. "The first of a new humanity," he said. "And the last mistake you'll ever make." The tiger lunged. The battle ended. Ending. The roar that shook the galaxy. Silence settled over the ruined throne hall. Rylan stood among the fallen warlords. His breathing slowed. The spectral tiger circled him once, brushing its starlit form against his side like a guardian, then dissolved into glowing embers that drifted into his skin. The awakening faded. Rylan collapsed to one knee, exhausted but alive. He looked at the shattered thrones. Humanity's conquerors were dead. Beyond the hall's broken doors, Dominion soldiers peeked in, terrified, trembling. None dared to approach. Rylan rose. "Your masters are defeated. The Dominion is finished. Stand down, and you'll be treated fairly." No one argued. The soldiers dropped their weapons. Sectors across the Dominion would hear the news within hours. The human killed the warlords. The impossible human. The tiger human. The legend spread like wildfire. Within days, oppressed species began revolts. Within weeks, entire sectors declared independence. Within months, the Dominion fractured entirely. Rylan returned to humanity's scattered survivors not as a soldier, but as a beacon, a living symbol that humanity wasn't just alive. Humanity was rising. On a quiet ridge of a reclaimed frontier world, Rylan stood watching two suns set. Wind brushed his hair. His uniform, repaired but still scarred, fluttered softly. General Hale approached. "You changed everything, Commander." Rylan kept his eyes on the horizon. "Humanity changed everything. I just lit the spark." "Then what now?" Rylan exhaled. "Now we rebuild. We protect those who stood by us. And we send a message across the stars." "What message?" He smiled, tired, steady, unbreakable. "If you mock humanity, be ready to face the tiger." The spectral beast flickered behind him one last time, soft, proud, watching the suns like a guardian spirit. Because humanity was no longer cornered. Humanity was awake. And the galaxy would never forget the roar.